50s, perhaps, when the company was founded. They prioritize safety and compliance across the board in their multiple locations, and we're happy to keep it short and keep your agenda moving and answer any questions that you have. Thank you.
I'll make a motion to accept the application as complete.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay,
Um,
okay.
I don't have any questions.
Yeah.
Can you remind us, are these four new buildings, are these already constructed?
They are existing, yes.
Existing.
Correct. This building is one of the buildings that existed when Peter bought this industrial park. He has added others, but this is one of the existing buildings that were there for some time, years.
Thank you.
And this area is, from what I took a look at our map, it's outside of the aquifer protection area.
Okay. I just show you the site here, these are the four existing buildings, these are some of the new ones. But it's this one right here, right?
That's correct.
81 is this one. And so the parking would be on this side of the building and then the fenced area would be out here, is that
Also correct.
Are the other three buildings occupied currently?
They are.
They are.
And those tenants aren't, they're under lease.
Okay,
It's a public hearing.
yeah, okay. We will open it to a public hearing. Does anybody have any questions or comments on this application? Yeah, I'll close the public hearing.
I'll make a motion this does not have regional impact.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
There's no waivers.
No, this is just a modification of the existing plan. I'll bring up one comment from Fire Chief, was asking about, he'll need the locations, details of locations of the outdoor storage, the volume of LP gas on site, and some of their, like, he said their daily routine, so just the operations plan, basically.
Yep, we do have all that information. It'll be similar to their other sites, and our thought was to couple that with the building permit application.
You need a condition, would that be a condition?
That'd be a great
Okay.
addition.
So an operations plan provided to the fire chief. Any other conditions people would like to see?
Yeah, I think so.
One thing that I think would be a good idea is to we don't have an actual site plan that shows the addition of that fenced area, so I think if we could get the site plan just marked up to show that formally.
Yeah, it is actually shown on one of the exhibits to the application. It isn't the clearest plan I've seen.
It's not like the site.
And we can do better than this, just so the board just so the board understands that we're not asking you to approve something that you haven't seen at all. It is an attachment to what did come in.
How would you, an updated site plan provided? Okay.
That we're happy to do, that. Easy to do.
I'll make a motion to approve application 209-26 with the following additions: that an operations plan be provided to the Borough Fire Chief, and that the site plan be updated to show what the plan is.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time once more.
Really do appreciate you taking us early, appreciate that.
I'll make a motion that the findings of fact show that this building already exists, and this is a minor change of use to an existing existing site, that this fits within the sort of spirit of that site.
And the special exception was received?
And the special exception was received.
Was
Was
granted.
Was approved.
Was granted, yeah.
Yeah, granted.
So moved.
Thank you.
Yep.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay.
Once again.
Just since we've had some new people show up since the beginning, just so everyone knows, we will not be dealing with the Mariner Tower cell phone tower application night, that's been continued to the November 17th meeting. September 17th meeting, so I know some people showed up after we said that, so if you're here to talk about the cell phone tower, come back on the 17th, so.
Okay. So the next one is this,
We can
right?
go back to the top now, yeah.
Right, okay, so we're back to the minor modifications, conceptual consultation, Route 3A Realty LLC, conceptual consultation to discuss a plan to revise the proposed dealership building for use as contractor bays. Located as 852 Route 3A, map 26, block 5, lot 53C. There's someone here.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you-
Apologies on lateness, I went to the wrong door. You wanna come over? Okay, so
Your name?
I'm Scott Sectonaset, so I am the owner of the Route 852 Route 3A. And I acquired the land with the plans for the car dealership, and it took me a couple years, but I wanna start building now, and I wanted to see if it was possible to, from a consultation to the planning board here, like, wanted to see if we could change the car dealership building into a contractor base. And, you know, my conceptual vision of it, I kinda drew a rough sketch. I don't know, did we get a chance to see that, or? Okay, yeah.
Yes.
You know, I might not immediately see that it meets like the requirements for driveway size and things like that, but I'm really flexible and open to hearing what suggestions the planning board has for doing architecture or contractor base here on the site, leaving everything else the same as the approved site plan.
On the right-hand side is 3A. Okay.
So there's an access easement for access to the site, so comes in up here at the top. And the other thing of note, I guess, about the site is that it is on the boundary between the commercial and a residential zone, which means it has
A
a
50-foot setback.
50-foot setback,
Yep.
buffer actually, which impacts the lot pretty significantly because it's kind of a skinny lot already.
Yeah.
So the 50 feet pushes in. In this proposal, you're meeting that 50-foot buffer?
Yeah, this visual was drawn off the original site plan approved, and this 50-foot setback is built into that.
Yeah, the things that usually come up are the setbacks, and you have it there, but snow storage is always something that we really wanna see plans for.
Sure.
And I guess I can't remember what the parking requirements are for contractor bays versus,
Problem is, depends on what goes in them, because if it's actually a contractor bay, a tradesman shop, that's one thing, but then we're seeing lots of other uses, which
Right.
is great, but they have more parking requirements.
Gotcha.
And is this elevated from 3A?
Yeah, the site is sloped.
Would you see the building from 3A?
It's about, it's set back a little bit, but yeah, you would see the building from 3A, but it is set back than normal.
this was the original plan? Was this?
You kind of sketched it on top of the original?
Yeah, I sketched on top, you can kind of see the old building right behind the gray.
Faded.
Yeah, it's faded.
Oh, I see, right.
And I removed the parking spots on the sides.
Let's look it up. This is the original plan here.
Oh, okay.
And I was also hoping like the parking can be like where the display area is now. That was where the car dealership had a lot of the display cars being displayed initially. So maybe some of the parking could be put there instead.
Any reason not to?
It's not, yeah, no reason not to. We don't have regulations in this area for not having the parking up against the road. It's a good planning principle that you don't necessarily want all the parking right in front of the building, because then all we
Gotcha.
see is cars.
Yep.
Which is one thing when you're selling cars, but if you don't need to have the cars there, it's always great if you can see the building instead, but
Yep.
it's not a requirement in this area. And then, does your plan involve the the retaining wall? I know that's one of the major
Yeah,
issues
so
on the site.
the approved plan has some retaining walls and I plan to build it exactly as required, like for existing the old plan, keeping everything the same.
How big is the retaining wall?
Believe there's it's in big pieces, there's some that are 10 feet, and then it gradually dies down because of the slope.
If it respects the buffers, and it looks like they have ample room for parking because of what was there before. I don't see any issue with that. Look, and obviously you need a snow storage plan, but you have
Snow
a plan.
storage, right.
You have snow storage in the back as on the thing. So
Yeah.
I would,
One of the, the original plan, there was some, I don't know what happened, it was 2015, I think.
2015.
Was the original plan, and then when he purchased it, we pulled out the plans and we found.
And we found it didn't have a
design.
signature.
It didn't have a planning board signature, and it had a sticky note on it that said, planning board chair did not sign, and some vague reference
Who's
to
the
this
chair then?
retaining wall.
Was it on Cunningham?
And so we
went through some
went through a
motions.
process, and they actually came back to the planning board and recorded a notice of decision, and it was resolved that way. But there was some question about the retaining wall, possibly because it is right up against the wetland buffer line, and the thought was maybe that how would you build the retaining wall so
Against the
close to the buffer without impacting the buffer is the best that we could come up with for an issue, so that might come up again. I don't know
Okay.
if you should talk to the contractor and find out if they
If it
can,
touches
if they can
if it
build it
touches,
like
yeah.
that, without impacting the buffer.
And it might mean like a little less display area there, right, if the wall shifts in a little bit, but I'm willing to work with them to see what they could do. Visually wise, I plan to just make it as a nice building, so I don't wanna make it like an eyesore when people are driving by. So like the colors will be more like a modern architectural style. It will be prefabbed, I'm thinking, but it will be it'll have like nice siding and nice colors and things like that. And the front side of not like the contractor base side, but the other side of it, a nice like facade, like entry area. So with landscaping and stuff obviously built into that as well.
Okay, yeah, we, with the landscaping, we tend to direct people toward native plants.
Yeah.
no palm trees.
No palm trees. Yeah. With Yana.
Siberian spruce.
Florida and bow.
Okay.
I guess one other thing to keep in mind for the contractor base is just making sure you have enough room for trucks to get around the building.
Yeah, I think
And
I
for
put
fire
in-
trucks too,
I
so.
put in 25 feet there, but I could take, I was wondering if, you would be okay with the other side being like no driveway for cars there, but maybe like just a walkway for pedestrians, but
The
then.
fire department's gonna want to be able to access all the way
Okay.
around the building.
What
That's
do you know
important.
what that
It has to do with the turning radius, so
Okay.
it's not just the width,
Okay.
it's the whole, they can turn
So
on
it's
the
for
corner.
their,
I planned for I think 32, is that 25 feet
Looks like
each?
20, yeah, 25, 23,
Yeah, 25 and 23.
so that'll be something probably for an engineer to take a look
Sure,
at.
sure.
Sure.
Sure, we can do. And this is just kind of getting, seeing feedback and, this is nowhere near like the real like site plan. I would obviously go back to the engineer and have them draw it all out. Come back again, but just wanted to get your initial insights and feedback and seeing if I may have missed something in my conceptual thinking here.
It makes sense.
Okay.
Just keep in mind with those contractor bays that if you're getting more creative uses in them that aren't just, like contractors,
I got it.
then make sure that you have enough
The
parking for
parking.
that.
Yeah.
Because we are seeing a lot of interesting uses go into these type of buildings, which I think is really cool because the buildings are so flexible, but
Yeah.
the parking just becomes tricky.
As far as starting to build and everything like that, what are the next steps here that you guys recommend?
It's a
You need to
full site plan.
Have an
bring a
approved
site
plan.
plan and we'll get it approved.
Yeah, and it would be just a modification to like one of the site plans, or do you need like everything?
Everything.
So
It doesn't seem like a modification of
Right.
the original plan.
yeah,
feels like a sort of new site plan.
Okay, so this has to go through like new, what do you call it, like surveying and everything like that?
A lot of this can probably be reused.
Yeah.
And then also wondering if the impervious area, so all like the pavement and stuff, is that gonna be the exact same footprint? Like the building will be different, but the pavement is gonna be?
That's what I wanted to keep it, the modifications as little as possible. Because if I really wanted to make it so I could get the most number of units, if I'm doing a new plan anyways, then I could go the new route and just redesign everything. But I was speaking to Carrie about this, like, kind of want the path of least resistance. And right now, like, even if, with the contractor base, if I have to redo everything, it might force me back to having to just build the same
Size.
size, or maybe just the same building the way it was planned. Because if, I don't think it's, I don't wanna wait like 2 years for everything to be approved, right? Like, I wanna start building. Putting some good use into that property, you know, so it's been there for a while.
So has nothing been submitted since 2015 or 16?
That's when the original plans were
There have
done.
been no modifications since then, or?
No, I mean, they came back just to kind of
Get the signature.
get it signed.
And that was when, 2020?
Three?
Yeah, when I closed on the property, yeah. And it's recorded in the deed. So I guess the other question is, if I wanted to go back to the original plans, I would just have to pull a building permit and go from there.
It's a little,
I think that would still need at least a site modification.
well, if you wanted to build it exactly the way it
That's
was
just,
on
if
the
it's built
approved
exactly the way
Right.
it's been approved.
Right, okay,
then
yeah,
that should be fine, I think,
right.
but if you're changing it to contractor base or changing it.
Or if I change if I make it the same size, does that count as?
That's still a change
Okay,
of use,
a
so
change
you're
of
still
use,
back here.
okay.
Different parking and.
But I think if you keep the impervious area the same footprint, you probably don't have to redo drainage, is that consensus?
Yeah,
Well, cleaned it up, I mean, just as a question, like if, you know, to Michael, to your point, if I keep the parking the same, just the building is gonna be different now, like,
I think
I
the
might get-
parking calculations are gonna be different, and it's gonna require more, I don't know that, but I think so.
Yeah, but if there was all that parking for display cars before.
Yeah.
Versus.
I mean, I might get, what, four or five units instead of 7, right, with the smaller size, but it's still flexible at this point, so it's just kinda open for your interpretation.
Unfortunate, but I think if it's a complete change, it should probably be redone, would be mine.
Was a survey done in 2015?
Complete survey was done, yeah.
So if these are actual tradesman shops, you would need 1 spot per company vehicle and 1 spot per 1,000 square feet. So if you do, it's 8,400 square feet and 7 units, we do 1 per
So 8 or
So
9
it'd be-
spots.
so that'd be like 15 total?
15, 16 parking spots, so it's not a ton.
How many was on the existing plan, you know?
So 3 on each corner, I believe, 4, 8, 11, and then 6 or 7 in the front, I think, so,
17,
yeah.
Okay.
and that's without the display area.
That's without the display, okay.
I'm not sure how you got into all of them, but they are on here.
So the question is whether it's a minor modification or whole new site plan. And what would your
I'd
recommendation?
say under no, so there's modification and there's minor modification.
Sorry,
So
modification,
it's
yeah.
definitely not a minor modification. I guess what are we talking about as the actual impacts? It'd be whether, I think it's really, if you want him to do new stormwater calculations, I think that would be the most impactful difference. And if his impervious area isn't changing, I'm not sure why
Right,
he would do that.
right, yeah, I would agree with that.
So if you can keep the impervious footprint the same and just come in for a modification to the building and the use,
Does that make sense to you?
and just not redo the stormwater, because that's, I think, probably the
Yeah,
biggest part of this.
so you're saying leave the the sizes of the building the same?
The building could change, but the
Okay.
overall impervious area, so basically the footprint of the
This is like the pavement.
Oh, yeah.
Pavement is the same as in the original plan, you don't have to redo the stormwater analysis.
Yep,
And then Carrie's saying that might be a modification of the plan, not a whole new plan.
got it,
The whole
got
new
it.
plan would be new stormwater
Yeah.
health.
So you're probably incentivized to keep the same pavement
Of course,
previous plan.
yeah,
And then just, if you can do that, come back with a modification to the building itself.
Same square footage on the pavement, right? Like the configuration could change slightly, but the square footage needs to remain
I
the
wouldn't
same.
want it to change too much, cause that could change the way the water goes.
so the way I have it drawn out,
Yeah, cause the way you have it drawn out only changes the building, not the.
Yeah.
not the pavement.
yep,
Okay,
Sounds
okay,
reasonable.
I understand.
good, if you have questions,
Yeah, Karen.
Alright.
Carrie's the pro.
No, it's good to meet you and, thank you for all the consultation. Feedback.
Thanks, Scott.
Alright,
Good luck.
thank you very much.
Take care.
Bye, Karen.
Next item, so, is it the Brian Stacy? Okay, so, this is, a minor modification, application number 206-24, Brian Stacy LLC. Request for minor modification of additional paved aprons in front of the garage bays located at 1113 Route 3A. Anyone here for it?
No,
I don't
I think they
think
thought it was so minor, they didn't show up.
I can explain for you.
Yeah, you can do that.
So, I went out with the building inspector when he was doing his inspection for the final occupancy permit for the building. And we noticed that the pavement was not what we approved on the plan. The plan had parking. The plan had just pavement here for this parking area, but instead they paved all the way around the building, these aprons. Because
I can't see where you're,
yeah, easier then. That shaded area all the way around the building here
oh, that's
is
all
all
paved?
paved, as opposed to just this parking area.
Oh,
And that's because they have overhead doors on both sides of the buildings, there's trucks coming in and out of the building, so they needed something more stable. I asked their engineer to look at what that does for impervious area, and we got a stamped letter saying that it does not have any adverse effect on the stormwater. That's one of the other engineers I talked to said you could pave half the site and it still would be fine, it's so much sand there, it's a very large pit, so there's plenty of place for the water to go, basically.
says no adverse effect, is that increased? I mean, adverse effect is not what the language in our ordinance or the site plan reg says, it's really, is there any increased water going off site?
Well, any stormwater, that next sentence says, any stormwater runoff generated from the paved aprons infiltrates the ground and doesn't leave
Okay, and
the
doesn't leave the
property.
property.
So,
It's a sand pit.
yeah, is the nature of the site.
Okay,
I'll make a motion to accept the application as complete.
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay.
And we don't have a public hearing for this.
Right. Yeah, so we did this as a minor modification because.
I'll make a motion that this does not have a regional impact.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
So essentially, it's already done.
Yeah.
It is done, yes.
So,
So your options are approve it or ask for new stormwater calculations to prove that it doesn't have an adverse effect. Or ask them to vote, I guess, those are the only three routes I see.
I always love when people come to the planning board before they do stuff.
Yeah.
But this is, as you say, pretty minor in an area where it's just all sand. So. Any conditions anyone would have? No? Sandy?
No, I guess, so the waivers that are on the plan are the waivers that we had granted before
Yes,
for the landscaping and screening and the
yeah, there's
landscaping?
nothing new there, that's, the plan has the little cloud around where it says additional paved apron. And then they updated the total impervious area as well, but those are the only changes on the plan.
I mean, the site is, the lot is also fairly large, it's not like it's,
Yeah.
Exactly.
so if they do anything else, we get additional, obligation in there.
All right, I'll make a motion to accept application number 206-24, a minor modification. That's the right wording, it's, we're just accepting the minor, approving the minor modification.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
I'll
Aye.
make a motion for the finding of facts that it is as stated, a minor modification in an area where, we've been told that it will not change the water runoff and won't go into other properties because of the size of the site
And the type of soil.
and the type of soil.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Okay. All right, next, conceptual consultation, Ferry Road Investments LLC. Conceptual consultation to discuss proposed site improvements, including the construction of a commercial building, outdoor storage areas, equipment storage, paved driveway access, storage bins, and compost and loam stockpile areas located at 8 to 12 Ferry Road.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. For the record, my name is Bruce Scammon with Emmanuel Engineering. Here with me tonight is Nick Bouchard, also from Emmanuel Engineering. And the owner of the property, Bryce, is here in the audience as well. Bryce Reynolds and Tony Reynolds is also here with us. I know that there's been a lot of discussion about this back and forth between the town and our client. We've been brought on board to try to bring everybody up to speed on what they're trying to do and try to get a plan on record for that purpose. They have owned the property, they've done some tree clearing already. They would like to put in a yard for their business. That yard would have some bin areas that would be right along the railroad tracks. They want to put in a building, and then they need a couple stockpiles for their loam and their compost. They'll need to store some of their equipment, will be stored on site, and then have the building. And probably what we'd like to do is have two driveways so that they could come in, circle the building, and then leave on the other side. There's been discussion about the work that's done to date, and there's been some stumps that have been pulled. I know that the bill inspector's been outside and looked at it. Our wetland scientist, Alden, I have a hard time pronouncing it. Boschman. Sorry. Alden is working on the site. He was there today and said that none of the stumps would be even in the 100-foot buffer. He is not only gonna do a delineation, he's talking about putting in wells so that he can determine where that water, the groundwater is compared to the site. I think the hard part is some of the aerials that have been seen and shown to date are from 2016 when Beaver had backed up a dam going under the railroad bridge down a few properties to the south of here. And that there was some water on the site back in 2016, so a decade ago. So that's where I think some of the data that people are looking at and some of the aerials that people are looking at. Alden has said that the area that we're working in is not wetlands, but he's working on that delineation, and we're gonna come back to you with our full plan with that delineation so that you'll know exactly where that is and where the buffers are. The areas that are stumped are right here, up in this very point. And Alden said that none of that is wet or near the wet areas. So we felt, we wanted to make sure that we told you that.
Is stumping going to stop while this process runs?
We would, the plan is yes, is that we're trying to stop that stumping. They were hoping that they could put a few things on the lot, but they're trying their best not to do that at this point and try to stay where they are. And let's go for the other drawings. So we did delineate. We took a GPS out there to see where the clearing was. This line is the clearing. On some of the 2016 drawings, this area shows as wet from the NWI maps. And that is where the water had backed up when the beaver dam was there. So Alden said that this area in the center was not wet. Correct. See the blue right in the middle?
This is what the NWI shows,
Yep.
is the National Wetlands Inventory.
Exactly, so let's see if I can pull an aerial.
It's on the
So
back.
that area is 2 feet lower than the other adjacent area,
Yep.
at least 2 feet lower.
So that is this area right here. They have been able to brush hog that and mow that like a field. And so
Yeah, it's very dry. I mean,
It's been
you can
very
go
dry.
up there and kick dust.
that's Bryce Reynolds, the owner of the property. So that's, we had asked Alden specifically about that area, and he said that that was not delineating as wetlands. And that's why he knows that because of this, that this could be contentious, and that that's why he wanted to put in the wells and try to, monitor and do test pits as part of this process as well. So that way, there's more data than just a traditional wetlands with an auger going around and looking at this.
So where, can you just draw with your hand where it's been logged,
So
right around there?
So there's a tree line in this area, and so it's right on the edge of this tree line, right
Okay,
here.
yeah. And you're saying
And
that,
the stumped area is right up in this point
Okay.
up here,
and so you're saying the brown,
right here.
you're saying this says it's wet, you're saying it's not wet, or your wetland
Or
scientist?
wetland scientist, I'm not saying
I know
that.
you.
I'm an engineer. I don't even try to play a wetland scientist, I understand that. But I spoke with him today, he had been on site, and that's what he's telling us. So I just wanted to give some relief to before people get too more excited, that this is not, it wasn't as if they went out and clear cut in the wetlands, and that Alden is saying that that area in the middle was definitely not wet.
Was an intent to cut filed?
No, and that's what they're working on, and what they needed, it came off the printer today to show the extent of that, so that we had its acreage on that. And it's my understanding that we're working towards getting that application in. I know it's after the fact, but a lot of it was brush.
I would say no one wants to come for the planning board. We don't even want to come to the planning board. But like, there's a reason we do the planning beforehand, and so
We
as
understand.
like, obviously, we don't wanna be punitive at all. And we wanna, I mean, certainly from speaking for myself, I love development in town. But I'm hoping that just like no further changes to the site happen until we get this sorted out. I think that would be a goodwill effort on your part.
That's the plan.
Okay, sounds good.
So,
Tony has something to say.
Oh,
I know I said I wasn't gonna say anything.
Can't help yourself.
I lied. The intent to cut, I had talked to Carrie about, we weren't 100% sure on whether it needed to be done. Rural Land Clearing was the one that did all the land clearing, and he had told us that it did not qualify the quantity for the intent to cut. When we got the notice from the town, I had talked to Nick, and they had sent out a survey crew to try to figure out what was actually done, but the question of the intent to cut was asked, and unfortunately, we were misled by the land clearer. He's been given all the information. I don't know if he's filed it or not.
I have an intent to cut from Berlin Clearing, it's missing your signature.
Simple enough.
And there's a couple of lines that need to be filled in, it needs to be signed.
Perfect.
So we're
So
close.
we are,
Just
we're
not
actively
there.
trying to
Yes.
Yeah, you
come into
can't,
compliance, we're not trying to.
we can't unlog or unstump, but as long
I
as the
understand.
work stops, we can hopefully run this process relatively efficiently
Yes.
so we can get it in compliance. In terms of the actual design, does anyone have any questions about that? Proposed design, I'd say.
Well,
Like it's the most certified.
yeah, I mean, I know what you said that Alden said, but I just, to look at something when you don't have the basic information that should be there to begin with.
I understand.
I've been on this site before, and it, was quite wet.
We'll definitely want a site walk. That would be something we need to do when you submit the application.
Are you anticipating any waivers requests?
Not at this moment, but is there anything that you know?
Not that I saw, I didn't look through too thoroughly, and I just kind of want to throw a quick sketch together just so we had
For
something.
preliminary.
Yeah, I don't,
I mean, we were intentionally trying to meet like setbacks and things like that. The only thing I'd ask is, there's a pretty good setback to the railroad on some of those bins. And it's, to me, that's, whether a bin meets the need for a setback. Because down there in the, in the industrial zone, I believe this is still the industrial zone.
yeah,
It is.
yeah,
So,
I2 general.
I don't think anybody along the railroad tracks is really gonna care if there's bins up there, and if anything, it makes it more safe to have the bins.
Yeah, the idea of putting it on the tracks was kind of, a privacy buffer and,
Protection, too.
almost like a fence.
So that would be one question I have for the board, is because I think it would make more sense to push that to within 5 feet of the property line versus the 30 feet that's there, because I don't know if you've been out there, like that Vice Chair has said, there's not a lot on the other side. There's a road that goes through, but there's nothing on the other side of the railroad. So it's not as if you're protecting, and concrete block isn't as if that's a fire hazard, like a building would be. So, and it's movable, so it's not as if it's a permanent structure.
Yeah, can you describe what these bins look
Yeah, they're
like?
just concrete waste block that are stacked up for Yep.
bark mulch and.
Bark
solid
mulch,
steel, right?
stone,
Yeah.
topsoil, all the different types of materials that the company needs to operate.
Is there any reason, it's a railroad, so I'm obviously like, it's not our railroad. Do they require a buffer of some sort, or is this our
This is
town?
our setback
This
from
is
the
our
property
setback.
Our building
line.
setback.
Yeah.
Any,
So
I wouldn't
It's-
have a problem with it.
Well, I guess the thing is that if you, yeah,
that would require relief from the ZBA of a variance.
it's considered a structure, the temporary, I mean, cause you know what I mean, it's,
It says, what does it say, above ground?
we call it a fence, cause it's really a fence, it's concrete fence.
it's not a fence.
Can't blame me for trying, cause I think, you know,
No downside to trying.
Setback applies to buildings or any other surface or above surface improvement, so I think that's pretty broad.
which would include a fence then, so you couldn't have a fence in a setback.
In some places, fences are exempt, but
Yeah, fences are
this,
exempt.
this isn't a fence.
So you're saying we need a variance for that, is your interpretation?
That's my
If you wanna
on the spot
go with the buffer.
interpretation.
Depends if you don't wanna go with the buffer.
I mean, I guess the question is, you have a proposed paved driveway. What other surface is going to be around that paved driveway? Because clearly if you have bins, you're gonna have to access the bins
Yep.
to add or remove material.
I would say that most of it will be gravel, and maybe the driveway ends up only being, you know, in a short entranceway or, you know, just in front of the building or something like that.
I'd
Some
say
aprons.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, probably asphalt would just end up being, you know, the main driveway and maybe just an apron around the building, cause you know, we'd be moving excavators and whatnot, that would just tear asphalt to shreds, so.
Right.
There's-
Yeah, I think any, you know, whatever surface is on the ground will need
Be
to
gravel, I would
have
assume,
that clearly identified.
show the extent of the gravel,
Yes,
just trying
absolutely,
to
yeah.
verbalize it.
I think the only thing that's not on here, cause I think you forgot to, I think there, we might end up putting a small greenhouse somewhere as well.
Any other questions?
One comment is that the site is in the 500-year floodplain.
Oh.
Which I don't believe affects, I don't think we have regulations regarding building there, just something to be aware of, I guess. And I do know that, I don't know if this exact spot has flooded, but water has gone across Ferry Road just below there, so. That's why Public Works just rebuilt the little berm to keep it back on that side of the road, so.
Yeah, the stretch, I just drove over there just to see it, cause I hadn't been there before I came here tonight. And so this stretch right here
Yeah,
is obviously the lowest stretch, cause of this wet area that's running this way. And yeah, there was a berm in this area,
yeah.
so
Public Works
which
had
is
just put-
lower.
They just put that back because the water had gone right across over to that building in the past, yeah.
My guess is that this area in here is probably 8 feet higher than that. This is significantly higher in this area, right in here. It drops back down a little bit, but it's still, I would think, higher up here than down along the road. And I think that's what we're seeing from the 2016, where Boba Brook Bog goes under the railroad. When I had done some work further to the south, I had walked the railroad to look at Boba Brook Bog, and the beaver had dammed it at the railroad tracks. And so around that time, the mid 2012 to 2016, there was much higher water in that area because of the beaver dam.
Okay. Any other questions you have for us?
I guess being such a pretty simple site plan, what do you foresee the process being with, like, do you expect third-party review for drainage if it's just a gravel yard, or where have you been?
What do you think, Sandy?
What is the plan for drainage? Would there be basins or?
Well, I guess we haven't got that deep, but I'm just trying to, where the goal was to keep it, of course, below 100,000 square feet that would require an AOT permit. And, so it'd be 2.5 acres, in that ballpark of a gravel yard. I assume that most of it flows down to, this area. It's probably the lowest area on the site because this is all up high. So I would think that we'd have some sort of catch area down that way to deal with the drainage coming off the gravel yard.
I would think those storage bins could impact the drainage quite a bit too. They create like a concrete wall almost.
Sure.
And actually, the gravel is considered impervious by AOT. Well,
89% constant value. There's a berm along the railroad tracks as well. So we're not getting water from the railroad tracks because of the berm that's there. I didn't walk the whole thing, but from what I've been told from the owner, is that there's a berm, just like there is on Ferry Road, there's a berm along the railroad tracks as well, to some degree. And so we're not gonna see a lot of water. And it drops to the river, on the other side of the railroad tracks, of course. So we're not seeing water coming from that side onto the site. So really, we're the high point, and then it drops down. We're not gonna see a lot of water from across Ferry Road because anything on the other side of Ferry Road is probably coming down along the side and crossing just before that building where the town was just doing the work on fixing the road, because everything to the north is gonna stay and go to that low point. So we're not seeing flow from off-site onto our site because of those two infrastructures of the road and the railroad tracks. So we're at a kind of unique spot for off-site water that we're not gonna get any. Behind the bins, we could probably just put in, it would be almost stored right there, right along in that property. Depending on how far back we move them, I'm sure the little bit of water that's coming between the railroad tracks and the bins is not gonna, there'll be enough land mass there that can handle that little bit of water that's coming. I would foresee that the bins in that area are all gonna be raised to a degree anyways, so that it's all fairly level, just for ease of moving materials. And, when you have material bins, you're gonna have to be able to get dump trucks in to dump those materials. And those aren't gonna be going on uneven ground. So I would think that this site would be leveled to effectively use it in this manner as well, as part of our site plan. Is there any type of drainage structures that the town is not looking for? We've been recently going to towns and they either want green infrastructure or they actually are adamant against it. So I asked the question because we don't wanna design something and then the town say.
Talking about like a wet pond? Or what type of green
Well,
infrastructure?
usually it's been green infrastructure like porous pavement, some towns are completely against. I wouldn't use porous on this site,
Right.
but I'm just thinking like, I don't know, infiltration swales where we're actually doing treatment have a sand filter within the swale itself so that we're treating the water in that manner. things like that, that City of Rochester was adamant against it.
Yeah, no, I think we've approved
Okay,
treatment swales and,
you hear what I'm asking is because there's no need for the Reynolds to pay for a design that the town doesn't like to have.
yeah, I can't think of much else until I see more information on the site.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for your time. We're aiming to get something in for next month's meeting so that you guys can continue this moving forward so that the family can try to get on the site as soon as possible. And thank you for working with us. And where would Bryce go to sign that? Is it tomorrow? Has to come in?
I can print it and you can come in, or you can connect with Karen, she's been trying to send it to you.
Okay.
So either way, either stop by here tomorrow or connect with Karen.
Can I give you my email so you could update it? And I think everything's being sent to him, and that's why I don't get anything.
I think Karen had an incorrect, we had a couple ones for you and I don't.
B Reynolds 827@gmail.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thanks all.
Thank you.
And you have our information, Karen, so if you need anything, we can help.
Alright, that was fun.
Yeah, I just.
Number 3.
Okay, so last public hearing, we have application number 503-26, Ryan and Catherine Berg and John Rosella. Third, subdivision application for proposed equal area swap lot line adjustment located at 112 Knox Road and 42 Robinson Road.
You'll have two versions of the staff report, but the one I just handed out has some little updates on it, it's 2 loose pages.
The loose pages is the right one. Okay.
It says second review at the top.
And I didn't have a copy of stuff though. This is it. Great, oh, thank you.
Make sure Danielle gets one if you have an extra.
Excuse me?
Do you have an extra one that Danielle can?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Sorry.
She gets one on the file.
Would you like one?
Sure, why not? Yeah, we have a kind of a small group tonight.
Would you like me to start? All right, good evening, everyone. My name's Dan Borowski. I'm a licensed land surveyor with Fieldstone Land Consultants. I'm here tonight representing Mr. and Mrs. Berg and Mr. Vizella for an equal area lot line adjustment. The lots are located in the rural zone, which requires 2 acres of area and 200 feet of frontage. Lot 3, 140B is an existing non-conforming lot with not enough area, but we're not making it any more non-conforming. We're exchanging the exact same amount of square footage between the 2 lots. This is a pretty straightforward application. We have requested a few waivers, which I imagine most of the staff report is centered around. So just to kind of hop right through them, I go through them one by one, but I mean
Just for the colors, so
yep,
the Bergs are getting the pink
correct.
and giving up the orange and vice versa. Okay,
Yep, the blue lines are the resulting lot lines.
got it. Thank you.
The
you want-
waivers we're requesting.
Before we do, do you wanna just discuss the reasoning behind the
Yes.
swap?
Behind the swap?
Yeah, that'd be helpful.
To fix, an existing nonconformity. As you can see, the paved drive for, the Rosella lot is in the orange hatch, which is currently encroaching onto Mr. Berg's land. And also the setbacks, were non-conforming. So with this, area swap, now the lot lines much more reflect the actual use of the land and the placement of the buildings.
That's a good finding of fact.
Write that down.
Who discovered that the driveway was not on the property?
Is that a
So it's a very unique situation. When this was actually when that 1 acre lot was actually carved out, back in the 70s.
Yeah, 70s.
Yeah,
78, 76.
that was the flattest part. That whole, both of our lots was an existing farm field. It has now become fallow. And so that 1 acre lot was the flattest part on that farm field, and I forget her neighbor on the corner.
Gary
Yeah,
Nyland.
the Nylands built their first home, that new home there, which John currently owns, and so that was the story Gary told me was, hey, I carved out this on this 1 acre lot, I could meet town approval, and it was flat and we just did it. But then at that point in time, as things expanded with that property and outbuildings and things, because he owned both properties, he didn't care where he put things. Is really what it came down to, and then when our home was built, and just over the last couple of years, John and I have just discussed that, hey, to make it easier for us, so our back property, right off our home, we have a deck. You know, there's a piece of property right there that John currently owns that we don't want a shed built on that if, in the future, if anybody was to buy John's house, and then vice versa to give him land to make sure the nonconformities are gone, so it makes it easier for him to sell his home.
In my house also, the setback to the corner of my house, if he sells his house
Yeah,
to somebody and they put a razor wire fence down my boundary, it's gonna be like, I can look out my window and look at it.
Could we go through stuff and then discuss the waivers later on, just because there's a bunch of waivers and just for efficiency's sake, we can deal with them right then and there.
Definitely.
I'll make a motion to accept the application as complete.
second.
All those in favor? Aye.
I mean, this is so straightforward, like, I can't imagine there's anything on the waivers that stop it, but we have to have a public hearing first.
Right.
If you'd like to speak to your.
Okay, so you wanna have a public hearing
Yeah.
now? Okay, we'll open the public hearing, if anybody wants to. Make any comment?
They're in favor, I am.
No? Okay, I'll close the public hearing.
I'll make a motion, this does not have a regional impact.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
So if you could just go through the waivers.
Yeah, sure. There are a few requirements in your subdivision regulations, which, the lot line adjustments kind of fall under, that we don't feel particularly applicable to this project. The first one being a green buffer strip, 50 feet wide along the right of way. There's no development proposed. We're merely fixing an existing nonconformity, so we feel that the land would really be burdened by the addition of a 50-foot buffer strip. The same reasoning goes along with substandard streets, a dedication, 25 feet from the center line for a substandard street. Again, no, and that would be along Knox Road. Robinson Road, I believe, is wide enough. But Knox Road is a little more narrow, but no development is proposed, no new construction. Mr. Berg has been in contact with the DPW and he has agreed to grant a 10-foot wide drainage
That was my
easement.
only question, so
Yes.
that's been sorted, that, we defer to Tim a lot.
Yeah, we met, so Tim came out and him and I walked the property, we walked along Knox Road. His biggest concern, there's an existing drainage swale there that DPW hasn't been able to maintain. Well, they maintain it every so often, he's like, legally, I can't touch it. He's like, if you can give me 10 feet of an easement, that makes our ability to come in and operate, maintain, and enhance as needed, so.
And you're fine with that?
Absolutely.
We can add that.
I thought he already had access to it.
No, we'll
Yeah.
put that as a condition.
The next one is, flagging of the buffer, area, so, obviously if we're requesting a waiver from the buffer area, to the delineating of it as well. And then, the delineation of wetlands. We're showing wetlands on the plan that we got from, a plan that was done in 2019 by Tim Bernier. As you can see, the wetlands that he shows on the lot are far away from any of the parcels, and again, the same reasoning of we're not proposing development, we're simply swapping title around. It would be a financial burden to go out and redelineate wetlands, simply to have them shown on the plan.
I think that's fine, because if they were gonna build something, if the Bergers are gonna decide to build a cabin in the back that was impacting the wetlands, they'd have to come back here anyway. So,
They would have to get a building
because if it was
permit though,
impacting
but-
the wetlands,
Oh, it was impacted.
that's what I'm saying,
Okay.
for the
Right.
wetlands are protected from development.
Well, at least they've been mapped. It's older than we would typically allow, but
At least
I
they're
think
We have a
it's
good
fine.
idea of where they are.
Right.
And then you have waivers for subdivision regulations as well?
That's the plat details, the wetland mapping and, for the impact statement. Your subdivision regulations require, a statement that all new development on lots in the subdivision shall be subject to the impact fees in effect at the time of planning board approval. As impact fees are generally, assessed for new building lots, and, we feel that this project doesn't really fall under those parameters.
Yeah, I would
agree.
I mean, so there's obviously no new development proposed here. I mean, if someone were to build an ADU, that would be subject to impact fees, just like any other project.
But that would be true without the lot line
It's
adjustment.
true regardless. The note, I don't see any harm of putting the note on the plan, but if you, I don't think it has much effect either way, to be honest. So they could either write that one line on the plan or you can issue a waiver.
These additional waivers?
There's the same list, so
Same one.
there's like, that is kind of repetitive because I first identified the things that were missing from the checklist and they responded by requesting waivers from them. So it's the same list, except I missed number 5, should be added for the impact fee note.
What did you say about
I'm not seeing
The
it.
list of waivers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at the top of page 2. It goes to 4, it should go to 5 and it should be the impact fee note.
Oh, okay, that's what I was.
Yes. That is why. And then, do you wanna talk about potential conditions or address the waivers first?
I just wanted to do the waivers, cause I'm a little confused by 2 different lists, I'm not sure why we have them.
So I
Because
guess
of
the
the
question is,
When I
are
make my
there any
motion, am I
missing
listing these or am I
checklists?
listing these?
The waivers requested, so the one on page 2. The first list, so I do the staff report and we identify anything that was missing. And then we send it back to them, they responded by requesting waivers, so I'm not just trying to update the same document, so that's why they're in there twice.
Just another quick note on this staff report, I don't know if it matters, but I think it says 12 Knox Road instead of
112,
instead of
thank you.
112, I don't know, but for the record.
Yeah, but then-
Okay, I'll make a motion to grant the waivers for checklist item 8, 3, 4, 37, and 48. Or do I have to list them out
That's from the subdivision.
from the sub?
Oh. Okay,
Can you just list the, like, 6.03?
6.0.
So
yeah.
I'll remake my motion.
Yeah, just make it clear.
I wanna make a motion to grant the waivers for 603N, 3.02C, 3.02D, 6.03R, and 6.04K.
One second, that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Now, what about the? Oh, okay, never mind, that was the
It's
two
doubling up,
lists.
that's why I was confused about listing.
Okay.
We can talk, separately, we can talk about how we wanna change the format of these two.
This one is
Okay.
just
Yeah.
sort of confusing format.
Yeah.
In terms of conditions, so it's, we have suggested the missing checklist items, professional stamps and signatures, all waivers that we just granted. Provide a 10-foot drainage easement along Knox Road, which Ryan is fine with. Are there any other conditions, the board? I don't have any,
I think
because anything that I would be concerned about, they would,
I
like
guess,
the wetlands and stuff, if they're gonna, they would come back. and we'd deal
are
with that.
there missing checklist items or not?
Not anymore.
Okay, not
They've
anymore.
been addressed at this
So
point.
really, it's, what we have is 2 through 5, so it's 4,
2, 3,
2,
4.
3, 4, yeah.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve application 503-26 with the following conditions: that professional stamps and signatures, as well as owner signatures, be on the final plan. All waivers granted and conditions of approval be on the final plan. And that the town has provided a 10-foot drainage easement along the frontage of Knox Road.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
And then I have to find my note. But finding a fact is that this really aligns reality with our subdivision regulations.
Makes it more conforming.
It makes it more conforming, so that's my motion.
Yep, second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much.
Which minutes was I here for?
Okay, so we
So
have
we have
May and July. Yeah.
The May ones keep getting pushed along. Luckily, we've been just putting them in the closet, so we don't have to keep printing them.
You can't do May, you don't have a quorum.
I figured we probably wouldn't.
And
Oh, so we don't have a quorum of the
For
people that
May,
were there,
no.
that's why we didn't
That's
do
why they
them the last
keep
time.
getting pushed along.
and we don't have a Sandy, because Mike wasn't here,
I was not here for July.
so we don't, can't approve any minutes.
Alright, don't throw them away, we'll save
Oh,
them,
no.
put them aside and we'll, so we don't have to print them.
Is there anything else we need to do?
There's not enough people
Oh, I
here
see, well,
who were at
you-
those meetings,
Oh, okay.
so we'll have to save them again.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Wait a second, what about, do you
what's
wanna
the
talk
paper?
about this?
2 minutes. The Bow Mills redevelopment strategy is a grant-funded project to consider the development of the Bow Mills district, specifically about bringing water there, but looking at how the district can be developed.
Is this where we just hired a consultant?
We just hired a consultant and they put together this little one-page sheet that they encouraged us to share with all boards and committees. We have a website that Danielle helped put together that'll have project updates on it. And there is a comment form on the website for people to start using if they have thoughts. So we just wanted to use this forum to let people know about the project.
Can we get this on the town Facebook page?
Yes,
Well, yeah,
That's what I was-
I was hesitant until we get like something to actually say. Right now, it's like, we have a website that says there is a project, so very soon, hopefully we'll have
Okay.
something of substance to announce.
Okay.
Yeah, but keep an eye out, there'll be public opportunities for participation in this project, so.
I didn't know Bow Mills had their own logo, they have a logo, huh?
The consultant just threw that together.
Oh, nice.
I imagine ChatGPT had something to do with it.
AI.
Couldn't be.
Okay, yeah, so when it's ready, getting it on the Facebook.
Yeah,
page would be good.
definitely, we'll do that, for sure.
All right, I will redo my motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Levi, you've got a whole lot of chance to